Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef, and I have with me in the studio today, Chris Cocca. Chris and I know each other from Provisors, and we've gotten to know each other a good bit over the last year, and I'm super excited to have him on the show and tell us about who he is and what he does. So, Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself and take it away.
Thank you, Daya, for having me. Hi, I'm Chris Cocca. My company is Strategic Sales, and I specialize in helping professional services firms grow and scale. And most of my work is business development consulting.
That's wonderful. So, professional services firms, talking about attorneys and who else?
Law firms, accounting firms, wealth management, engineering and architecture, marketing, any firms that deliver professional services. And most of my clients also have to do some business development. So they may not have just a big sales team. They may have a few salespeople, they may have no salespeople, but ultimately they're doing great client work every day, and they're also doing business development to bring in new clients.
Yeah, that makes sense. And more you see people in those knowledge work, intellectual work industries having to bring in their own book of business. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you share a success story with us?
Yeah, so I am currently working with an accounting firm, a CPA firm out in Seattle. So I work all over the country. A lot of the work that I do is virtual. I do some things in person, but I'm lucky that I have a team of consultants all over the country. So if I need somebody local, I have local people that can plug in. But I've had this client that I've worked with another partner on for about 9 months now. So it's been a long project. And when I first got introduced to this accounting firm, mid-size accounting firm, they probably have about 110, 20 people somewhere in there. So pretty good sized firm. And they were growing, but they weren't growing very consistently. And when I talked to them, they really had three areas that I immediately saw as an opportunity for them. The first area was around business development process. So they really didn't have a well-documented business development process that everybody followed. The second area, they were not really doing performance management around business development. They were doing it around their client work and capacity and managing their business day to day. They were great operationally, but they were doing little to no performance management around business development. So they didn't really have KPIs. They weren't managing a scorecard, all of the things that you need to kind of keep track and make sure that you're doing what you need to do to get you to your goals and be able to predict success. They weren't doing a whole lot of that. And then the third thing is they really didn't have a lot of professional training or coaching or development. They tried some programs that came and went, but they didn't have anything consistent. They weren't doing a lot of coaching and one-on-ones and developing their people to get better year over year. So they had good years and bad years. They were up, they were down, and they were just looking for some consistency. So, and I was working with the managing partner. His name is Sam. And so Sam was having all these issues and wanted to try to solve them. So in working for that time with Sam, I was able to accomplish a couple of quick wins for them. One is that we built a sales playbook or a business development playbook, and we were able to document step by step everything that they needed to do, from qualifying a lead through that important proposal presentation all the way through closing a deal. And they were able to do it consistently, and they were able to do it much more efficiently than they were doing after we were able to document that. And then we were able then to really get their CRM HubSpot working the right way. I think a lot of professional firms, Daya, have a CRM, but it's messy. It's very, very inconsistent. You can't forecast with what's in it. And everybody's kind of doing their own thing and tracking the data their own way. So we were able to get all that cleaned up and get that process that we created embedded in HubSpot. So now they could actually follow a deal stage process where they really knew what were the gatekeepers between each stage, what did they need to do to go from one stage to the next, and how could they better predict success in the way that they were doing all of their new client opportunities and even expanding existing clients, because we talked a lot about that with them as well. So, and that's really a big part of growth too, I think, with firms, Daya, is it isn't just bringing in the new clients. It's really understanding within your existing client base, how are you serving them? Where are you not serving them? And how could you potentially grow or expand with them to meet even more needs than what you're currently doing? So and I call that white space. So
Okay.
have you ever heard that term, Daya, white
That
space?
term, no.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
so white space would be, Daya, if you can do 5 different services for your clients, and maybe I'm one of your clients and you're doing 2 of the 5 with me, but you're not doing the other 3. I think it's important to understand, number one, do I need the other 3 things? Could I value from the other 3 things? And then if so, what's the process for us to have a conversation about you expanding your services with me and being able to do those additional things? What's the right way to have the conversation? How is that part of your business development process? How do you track progress against that and make sure that you're qualifying or disqualifying all of that white space?
I love that. I like that term. It's a good term. It's got like there's like juice left in the lemon there or the fruit. These are all wonderful things. I love the idea of being able to predict the future. No tarot cards needed. You've got all the information there. You just have to get to it.
Yeah, and if you can't predict the future, then it's very difficult for you to plan operations in your business. Because if you know what kind of business is coming and when, then you can properly staff and schedule and make sure you got the right resources and capacity, and that you're ready to onboard the new client work or the existing expanded client work, as opposed to just dealing with it on the fly. And you win another project and suddenly you're scrambling on, well, how are we going to get this client work done and who's going to do it and how do we properly hand off between business development and onboarding a new client? So it just smooths out your operations process, and it lets you know, maybe in the future, let's say that you're having a great year for business development, that would be the trigger point for you to actually be able to go hire more people,
Mhm.
because you can hire with confidence that you're actually going to be able to have them at capacity. So it really helps with hiring and recruiting as well, which is kind of an offshoot of that this particular accounting firm has benefited from. So, those are important things. And once we got the playbook done, we worked together on their strategy. We worked together on their business development process. We did things like we documented their ideal client profile. And you would hope and think that every law firm or every professional services firm has a clear and documented understanding of their ideal client profile.
Mhm.
And you would not be correct.
They
That's not a
don't.
good assumption. So there's a lot of work that goes into that. So that they were really attracting the right clients and they were spending their marketing dollars the right way and they were qualifying the right way or disqualifying the right way. So we put a lot of work into their buyer personas and their ideal client profiles as part of the playbook, which they've really benefited from. And then we started to tackle a performance management piece. So once you've got the process, you've got CRM cleaned up, everything is sort of moving forward, then how do you keep it going? And what we're able to do is set up one-on-ones once a month. So not every week, but once a month, the coach and the partner or whoever's doing the business development are responsible for bringing in new business. They had a one-on-one, and we built the right scorecard, the right KPIs, the right way to evaluate the pipeline in HubSpot. Just a really good, tight process once a month to kind of go through all of the business development important areas so that you knew that that person was on track to either achieve their goal or maybe they needed help or support, and you're able to coach them and get them back on track. But either way, it kind of kept everybody connected, and made sure that everybody was really included, because a lot of people out in the professional services world, they really don't get that one-on-one. And so they're hoping that they hit their goal, but they're really not sure. And then, you get to mid-year or end of the year and you're looking back and saying, well, we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve. You probably could have known that really early in the year with the right scorecard and the right one-on-ones and the right support, like the ability to be able to coach those people. Because most, even principals or partners in a law firm rarely get good coaching when it comes to business development. So they went from having 0 one-on-ones to 50. So they're now executing 50 one-on-ones every month. And then we built out a team meeting so that they could look at how it all rolls up and whether they're on track or off track as a team. That's once a month as well. And we've got them in a really, really good rhythm now where they all feel connected. They all feel like that they understand, what they need to do and how they need to grow, and maybe the resources and help that they need to get to where they want to go. So that was a really, really big improvement. And then we turned our attention to that third bucket that I was talking about, which is development. So they had never received any formal business development training or any kind of formal help. And so I work with a platform called Rain Group. And Rain Group is a really great international sales and business development training platform that's taught all over the world to really, really big companies. But they took everything that they've done, all the lessons, all the videos, all the material, and put it into an online portal. And so you could subscribe, Daya, to this portal, have access to every single lesson, every single concept that is taught in Rain, and kind of take it at your own pace. And so we got 15 of their key people involved in Rain training. So they take a module a week, and then the following week I coach a group. So I coach a group of around 5 people or so. We all go back through the lesson, and we really understand, well, how are you going to apply that learning, and what are you going to do differently? Wow, you have this really big prospect meeting coming up next Wednesday. How are you going to get prepared for that? Are you ready to conduct a really great discovery meeting or a really great proposal meeting or what have you? And it's really helped them become much more disciplined, much more professional. And it's given them like a common language of business development, which I think is critical for any professional services firm, that everybody's kind of speaking the same language in terms of how they're working with their client prospects and how they're doing their business development. And so it's given them a really great common language and common platform for them to work off of. So that's really the third component. And I do a little coach to coach for people that are not comfortable in coaching in one-on-ones. I can get in there and help them because a lot of people have never gotten coaching training before either.
Most.
So,
Right.
and then you just do it the way you do it. And a lot of people are not comfortable with that, especially when it comes to business development. So I've done a lot of coach to coaching as well. And then I'm looking forward to going back to Seattle in May. I do a quarterly framework with them to make sure that we're setting our 90-day goals and our 90-day sprint quarter over quarter the right way. And we're looking back on the previous quarter to see what worked and what didn't work. And we're making adjustments to our key performance indicators. We're doing training and development, anything that they need to make sure that they're getting the big things done every quarter. And the results have been fantastic so far. They are about 4 months into their fiscal year. They've sold and closed about 2.5 million in business, and they're well on their way to achieving their overall goal for the year. And we're really building some great momentum that we've smoothed out the rough edges of up and down in their firm. And so it's been really, really exciting to watch them grow and really be able to get many more people in the firm involved in business development. It can't just be a couple of rainmakers. It really has to be everybody down to the manager level, or even down to any level you want to go down to. Everybody can participate in some way, shape, or form on business development. So they've got a team now that is really focused on business development. And I would say that their culture has really changed. They had a fantastic company culture that really attracted me to them in the first place. But they've actually been able to build a culture of business development and growth within that great culture that they already had. So it's been a really great engagement for me so far.
Yeah, that's an excellent story. Like, you covered all the bases with it and showed the growth. And I really think that key is the one-on-one or the group coaching that goes along with the training. Because you had mentioned like they'd done some programs in the past, and I think we often do that, especially as business owners. We're like, okay, we'll throw some training at our people and then we'll go back to work. And then that's really just proves to be a waste of time if you don't have a long-term plan and a long-term vision
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think for those that are listening and considering doing like a business development training program, until you have the fundamental stuff right first, including a business development process, including your CRM, to make sure that you know what should be done day in and day out, I wouldn't even attempt business development training, because what I tell people is it doesn't stick to anything. So you do the training and then 6 months later, it just sort of evaporates because you're not really walking it forward. And you're not supporting it. You're not letting it thrive. You're just doing it as a one-time training. And then to your point, people just go back to doing what they're doing. So I'd say fix the, what I call business development infrastructure first, and then start the training after that.
That's awesome. So Chris, how do people get a hold of you to find out more?
So they can reach me on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only Chris Cocca on LinkedIn, COCCA. My email address is ccocca@salesacceleration.com. And I'm sure we can post that,
Absolutely.
in the chat here. And then they can reach me on my website. It's chriscoccasales.com. And I've created a platform called Evergrowth. So I have a page called Evergrowth that is specifically built for what I do for professional services companies. So if they want to check out more information, they can go to chriscoccasales.com/Evergrowth.
I love it. I look forward to checking that out. I hope everyone does. This has been a great episode of the Success Partner Podcast. I'm Daya Naef, your host. It has been Chris Cocca as our guest today. Please subscribe and like, and stay tuned for more.
Thank you, Dave.
Welcome to the Success Partner Podcast. I'm Daya Naef, your host and founder of The Success Partner. On this show, we dive into the stories of attorneys, business professionals, and entrepreneurs who have navigated the ups and downs of building successful careers and businesses. From the strategies they've implemented to the challenges they've overcome, we're here to uncover the insights that can help you on your own journey to success. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Thank you for joining us on the Success Partner Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found some valuable takeaways to apply to your own business journey. Remember, this show is brought to you by The Success Partner, where we help small law firms and business owners achieve unparalleled success through strategic guidance, operational excellence, and effective marketing. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit thesuccesspartner.net to learn more. Until next time, keep striving for success, and I will see you in the next episode.